I guess this card is okay. What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. Now today I wanted to bring to you a video discussing Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Now that we just actually got confirmation that Ash Blossom is going to be a secret rare in Maximum Crisis coming out in a few weeks, there is pretty much not a doubt in my mind that Ash Blossom is going to be the chase card of this upcoming set. And the reason for that is because when this set dropped in Japan, everyone was looking forward to this card because it's one of the best hand traps, if not the best hand trap ever printed in this game's existence. It does so many amazing things. For those of you who don't know, Ash Blossom is a level 3 fire zombie tuner that acts as a hand trap, 0 attack, 1800 defense, pretty much identical to your Ghost Ogre and Ghost Reaper. It's all in the same family, which I guess it shouldn't be a surprise that it's a secret rare for us here in the TCG. And the effect reads that during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that includes one of the 3 following criteria, you can discard this card and negate that effect. And those 3 criteria are adding a card from deck to hand, sending a card from deck to graveyard, or special summoning monsters from the deck. And all of them have the parentheses S, so it can be multiple. It's not just restricted to just one. And it doesn't target, which is absolutely phenomenal because we do have a lot of cards in the game that do have protection, or rather bestow protection from targeting as well. It doesn't matter where the effect activates, so you can negate things that activate in the hand, in the graveyard, all these different locations. So the fact that there's so much flexibility in this card's use, I felt that it would be really cool to make a video to showcase for you guys, if you're going into a competitive event, all the top meta cards that Ghost Ash, or rather Ash Blossom, can negate and actually give you such a significant advantage in your match. And a couple things I do want to kind of preface before I do that. So I did mention that it is a quick effect, so that's important to note. So you can use it during either player's turn. Keep in mind that you can't use it during the damage step because it doesn't really fall under the criteria of being able to be used in the damage step. So something, for instance, like Cosmo Farm Girl, if it would inflict damage, her effect triggers in the damage step, so you wouldn't be able to negate something like that. And then you've also got the fact that it doesn't target. Like I said, the fact that it doesn't target is absolutely huge and really just can stop so many different things that you might not think. So I'm going to slide over here. As you can see, we have Ghost Ash and, or rather Ash Blossom on the screen here. Now, what we're looking at right here is every single card that either adds a card from deck to hand or draws a card from the deck, because drawing a card falls under adding a card from deck to hand. Think of like Masked Hero Darklaw and how his effect triggers. Ash Blossom falls under the same criteria. So this is a list of all the meta cards that I could come up with that this card can negate. And it's a really extensive list. So for instance, just starting at the top, you know, Alistair the Invoker, for any of your invoked matchups, being able to deny that invocation is huge, and especially because, you know, it requires a normal summon, even though it's not once per turn, they're going to have to use an extra normal summon to be able to get out a second Alistair just to get to their invocation, so that could be really huge in stopping their plays. You've got stuff like Atlantean Dragoons, which Dragoons can be recycled, so it's not the end of the world, but I mean, being able to stop one search could be huge. Buster Drake, looking at your ABC matchup, is really big because then they can't maybe add the last piece to complete a Dragon Buster. You got Baboon for your Metal Foe matchup. I mean, that's really huge. Then you got stuff like Dupe Frog and Galaxy Soldier. I put Gravekeeper's Commandant in here just because people are citing Necro Valley for stuff like Paleo, and he's a searcher, so that's a cool thing you can negate as well. Guiding Ariadne for being able to search stuff like Solemn Warning and Solemn Strike, as long as it's not destroyed during the damage step. Then you got like Cosmo Tin Can even as well. It stops that. Lunalight Black Sheep is probably one of the biggest cards that this card can stop, especially if you're going second, going up against anyone using the Lunalight Black Sheep combo. Sure, DD Crow essentially fills the same role, but Ghost Ash has so much more flexibility in what it can hit compared to DD Crow that it's definitely worth its secret rare printing compared to something like DD Crow by comparison. Mathematician's cool. Again, it's going to be adding a card if it's destroyed by discard effect or anything like that. Max C is absolutely big. So one thing I did mention in the preface of like the conditions for Ash Blossom is that even if you chain Max C and then chain Ash Blossom and they don't draw cards off of Max C, Ash Blossom's effect reads, if there's any instance where your opponent might, can, or will draw cards or send cards from deck to grave or special summon monsters, you can chain Ash Blossom to that card. So that is absolutely huge. The fact that you can stop something like Max C, I know we have it at 1 compared to the OCG, but being able to stop Max C and ensuring that your plays go through is so big that I just can't even believe that we actually have a hard counter to Max C. That isn't something like Solemn Strike. Then we have the Mermaids. The fact that this stops like the big 4 in terms of the Mermaid count is really cool. Cleefort Scout, which is going to be in your Metalfoes matchup, as well as Bismugear. Getting into some Blue Eye support with Sage with Eyes of Blue, that's pretty good from denying a tuner ad. Sangan I wanted to throw in here just because of the fact that Sangan can search Max C, so you're denying them from getting to the Max C, which is really good. I threw Skarm because Burning Abyss is topping regionals and doing really well at YCSs here and there, so denying a Skarm search for Tour Guide's pretty good. Soul Eating Oviraptor, that's another good card because the dinosaur deck's gaining popularity. Denying the search off of Terror Top and preventing that rank 3 or that Invoker play could be really good as well. White Stone of Legend, Glass Spell, Thoroughblade. Again, Thoroughblade is going to be drawing a card, so it prevents that. And then you look at this spell lineup here, and this is just crazy. You can deny Allure of Darkness, Card of Demise, Consonance, Charge of the Light Brigade. I threw Dragonic Diagram in here as well because once Maximum Crisis hits, that deck's going to be huge, and being able to deny the ad from a Dragonic Diagram is massive. Same thing goes for Tenki. I threw Fire King Island in here because of Cosmo. Fossil Dig for dinosaurs. Fusion Substitute because of the recursion with Norden. Interrupted Kaiju Slumber is one that I just can't even believe this works this way. So because Interrupted Kaiju Slumber's text has the ability to add a card from deck to hand with its banish effect, if your opponent activates Slumber to destroy everything, Ash Blossom can negate the destruction effect, which that's just like mind-blowing, but because it has that in the text, Ash Blossom can negate it. So that's something you really want to keep in mind with Ash Blossom because it almost kind of works like how Solemn Warning can negate Macrocosmos, if that makes sense. Even though Macrocosmos is pretty much blanket banishment, because it has the effect to special summon a monster, you can negate it with Solemn Warning. So the same logic kind of applies with Ash Blossom and Kaiju Slumber here. Into the Void, Cosmo Town, Left Arm Offering. Hitting it on Left Arm Offering is just disgusting because they're going to banish their hand for cost and then you Ghost Ash them and they're screwed. Meltdown to deny the Alistair, Metalfoes Fusion, Painful Decision, Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires! That is just so good. They're gonna banish 10, you just drop Ash Blossom, and then they don't even get to draw. That is just disgusting. Pot of Duality, Reinforcement of the Army. I threw Spiral Resort in here because Spiral Zodiac is seeing some play. Solar Recharge, Summoner's Art, Terraforming, Melody of Awakening Dragon, Trade in Union Hanger Upstart, Void Banishment, Wonder Wand, Metalfoes Combination, Reckless Greed, Zodiac combo, and then for some extra deck monsters, I've got Dante Pilgrim, Tsukiyomi, which is good for your ABC matchup, Daigusto Emerald is huge for your Zodiac matchup, as well as Zodiac Broadbull because it can add either a Whiptail or a Rapier or a Black Sheep to continue on with their combos. Now, I don't want to stop there. I want to make sure we cover all aspects of this card. If that weren't enough, this is a list of all of the cards that send cards from deck to graveyard that are meta relevant. Keep in mind there's plenty of other cards that have effects like this. I wanted to restrict this solely to cards that are going to be coming up a lot in the meta for when you're going to higher tier events. So for this list, you've got like Fiendish Rhino Warrior, Glow Up Bulb is pretty good, Gozuki and the Zombie Lightsworn decks, Infernoid Decatron, being able to deny the ability for them to send and copy an effect is really powerful, Mathematician for its sending ability, Neptibus once again, there might be some duplicates because they have kind of the same criteria, I just wanted to list them, Raiden, you got Swap Frog, which is really good, possibly denying a totally awesome play, Unizombie, once again, for Zombie Lightsworn. Ratpier can get negated, which is kind of cool, denying the Zodiac combo from hitting the graveyard. Brilliant Fusion, because Brilliant Fusion sends cards from deck to graveyard, so that's a pretty cool interaction there. Again, Charge of the Light Brigade, Foolish Burial, stopping Future Fusion can be really good if you're going second, because it does send cards from deck to graveyard, so I really like that. Again, Painful Decision. Reasoning is cool because they actually won't excavate cards either from it. Solar Recharge. That grass looks greener. Like, this is the card that's like rip 60 card deck. So I love that this can negate that. Same thing for Void Imagination, Paleozoic Marilla as well. And then getting into quickly some extra deck monsters. You got Beatrice, Kagasuchi, Dante, Minerva, and I threw Traptrix Rafflesia in there as well. And last but not least, I wanted to talk about monsters that, or cards rather, that special summon monsters from the deck that this card can negate as well. And this is a really, this is going to be where the list kind of changes dramatically, but you're going to be shocked by all these cards here. So Baby Ceratosaurus, as well as the Petite Pteranodon, that's also going to be that for the dinosaur deck. There's so many cards that Ghost Ash stops in the dinosaur deck. Then you got Deep Sea Diva, you've got Graph, Cosmo Dark Destroyer, assuming it wasn't destroyed again, like by battle in the battle phase. So any of the Cosmo big ships, if they were hit by like a dark hole or destroyed by non-battle means in the damage step, you could technically Ghost Ash the effect, which is really powerful. Lone Fire Blossom, which is seeing play in the Baobaboon Metal Foe matchups. Miscellaneous Source's ability to special out Tyranno Infinity. I already covered this. The new Predaplant that special summons a monster and also searches for fusion spells. Rescue Rabbit, Shiranui Solitaire, Summoner Monk, Whitestone of Ancients, Tour Guide, Ice Bell, Ratpier. Ratpier I do want to mention as well. Any Zodiac Xyz monster that has Ratpier's effect, Ash Blossom can negate it. Now, if it's like a Trident, it's not going to negate the effect of, negate Trident's other effects, like to pop a card, but you will deny the special summon, which is huge in the Zodiac matchup. Then you've got Emergency Teleport, 1-for-1, Zodiac Barrage, Artifact Sanctum, Void Feast, and then I also threw in Totally Awesome as well as MX Saber Invoker as well. So, you know, guys, you look at this list, and this really just goes to show how powerful of a card Ash Blossom is going to be. Like I said, this is just barely scraping the surface because I only probably picked maybe like the top like 6 or 7 decks that have been doing well competitively that you're going to see a lot of. There are so many other cards that Ash Blossom just screws over, and I'm really happy to see that we're going to get this card because it's going to be absolutely hilarious. So guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Be sure to like the video as always, subscribe to the channel for more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content, and also be sure to back me on Patreon because just by pledging $1 a month, you're investing in my ability to continue bringing you amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. And also let me know down in the comments what you guys think about Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and what other cool cards that you think are really powerful for this card to negate that I might have left out in this video. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and we'll see you next time.